Are you able to see my screen well?
Yes.
Do you also see when I navigate between different screens or no? Just to make sure that nothing personal is out there.
Maybe do it again?
Okay.
I don't know.
At the moment, you can't see anything, right?
Yes.
You're just seeing the thing I'm sharing. You're not seeing anything else.
No.
Oops. And how many people are we expecting for the session today?
I think maybe on 2 minutes we can begin.
Hey, Sylvia, can you follow up with Obi, please?
Yes.
All right, shall we begin? Can you guys hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, if you are prepared to start, let's begin.
Sure. Good afternoon, morning, evening, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us today on this experience sharing session. My name is Islam. I'm going to be your moderator for today. Just want to apologize. I'm not feeling very well, so my energy is very low, but I'll do my best to make sure everything is well and go smoothly for everyone on this session. So today's session is going to be about inclusive outreach for deliberative democracy processes. We're joined by three incredible speakers with a lot of experience to share. So we're really hoping that you'll be able to make the best out of this session and to also be able to learn and then share and of course share the knowledge with everybody. So as usual, I want to remind you all that all channels are open. If you have any questions, please put it down on the chat. Keep your microphone on mute at all times if you're not speaking, so that we can also listen to everyone very well. If you feel comfortable, put on your camera. You always know that we love seeing you guys virtually. So if you can, if you want to, please turn on your camera so we can see you. Otherwise, you can keep it turned off. Last but not least, if you want to speak, you can raise your hand and then you can go ahead and ask any question you have. So one of the cool things about today's session as well is that the speakers are from all different regions from the Demo.Reset project. We have Sylvia from Delibera, I believe all the way in Brazil. We have Kunal from India, and then we also have Obi from Sub-Saharan Africa or Nigeria. And that's really exciting to be able to share the space with all the speakers today. So I also again want to thank you for taking the time to share with us your experiences on this session. So the goals of this session is we are going to do experience sharing. But why are we doing these experience sharing? Of course, to facilitate the exchange of knowledge about deliberative processes in the South, in the global South, although I'm a bit iffy about that term, but I guess that's the term that we're using. So I believe that also with deliberative democracy, without exchanging and learning from each and everyone in different spaces, then we also can't really grow as much as we can when we share with each other. We also want to take the time to identify like the best practice tools, the methodologies, strategies, and just the different models of deliberative democracy that are taking place in different parts of the world. Last but not least, we also want to boost the integration and the cross-regional approach to this project, i.e. the Demo.Reset project. So now I'm going to walk you guys through the agenda for today. And we're going to have the first session, which is an introduction, or the first block, an introduction, and then we're going to have the presentation of each speakers and also an exchange time, more like a Q&A between every session. So if you have any questions while any of the presenters and the speakers are presenting, then you can also write it down on the chat. And then once we go into the Q&A section, you can go ahead and ask your question. So we're going to have about 4 Q&As, one after each session, and then we're going to have a final Q&A and wrap up, which would be the last part of today's activity. There's a thing here about me. My name is Islam Beiti again. I work for the I for Policy as a community engagement lead, and also with the Demo.Reset project together with my colleague Eva, who unfortunately wasn't able to be with us today. And let's get to know each other. So today we have three beautiful speakers. We have Madame Obi Jane, we have Sylvia Kervelini, if I pronounce that correctly, and Kunal Jaiswal. I've also known Kunal from previous work with the Global Assembly, so it's really nice to see you here, Kunal. I also see Sanskriti. It's also such a pleasure to see you here, Sanskriti. And yeah, we're gonna do a little session, a little exercise to get to know each other a little better. You know that this is probably my fifth session with the Demo.Reset. And every single time we also like to know more and more and more about each other because it's really important because we are going on this long journey together. So I'm gonna hand over to Sylvia, who's gonna walk us through this little exercise. And we're gonna do that. And then after that, we're gonna get right into it. So Sylvia, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. So I'm gonna send you right now on the chat a link to a Padlet. So everyone can go on the page to the Padlet. Maybe I will share my screen. And we can go on the Padlet right now. So the important thing right now is that we can see where from where we are talking today. So right here on the pink plus, I'm gonna put all the map in here. And so I'm gonna put the place where I'm at right now. So I'm going to put Bogota, Colombia here. And I'm going to put my name and the name from my organization. And then I publish it so everyone can see me in here. So please, I invite everyone to do this and fill out all the map with some pinpoints of where are you right now. And I invite you to answer to the question, if we can go to your country, where would you take us first? Maybe you can write it on the chat, or if you want to tell us something about it, if you want to answer it, please raise your hand and we will give you. So I'm seeing here in Sao Paulo. And in Croatia, right? In Nairobi from Fredericks, right? So does anyone want to answer the question, if we can go to your country, where would you take us first? Maybe someone from Croatia or from Kigali. Yes, Blajika.
Okay. Did you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Blagita Petriski from North Macedonia, Skopje. So if you are coming to Macedonia, first we will get you to a good food. We have an excellent food, fresh vegetables and different type of domestic food like pies, etc. Then we will probably would like to traveling a little bit in some of the closed vineyard close to the Skopje, and next we recommend to visit Ohrid and Kruševo as two most attractive touristic places.
Okay, thank you. That sounds great. It's very exciting to know some things about other places where I I have never gone before. Maybe someone else, and then we can continue by taking a picture of everyone with this map. I don't know if maybe Frederick, did you want to continue? This one from Nairobi? Or maybe not. Or maybe Poon, I think. Okay.
Blajika, I don't know if I'm speaking it right, is raising her hand.
Yes. Blajika had already told us, maybe someone else. I don't know if Silvia, the speaker of today, want to tell us something. We can. You can't unmute yourself. Wait.
I think you have called somebody else before, and he couldn't speak because the speakers we were on mute. So if somebody wants to jump in before me.
Yes, but I can't find him. It was Frederick, but I think he.
Yeah.
Maybe go on. Yes.
Yeah.
Go on, Frederick.
I think this is Frederick, and if you were to visit Nairobi, I think the most nostalgic place to take you will be Nairobi National Park. It's a park in the city.
Okay, thank you, Frederick. So right now I'm gonna ask you to turn on your cameras. We are going to take a picture of everyone, and then we can continue with all the session. Thank you. Yes. So I'm gonna ask you to take a big smile, everyone, and show us your deliberative enthusiasm, right? So 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Let me go back and share my screen again so we can continue. For those of you who just joined us, we are just starting. We have just done the introduction, or like a little icebreaker exercise. And now, without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Sylvia. And like I was saying, I don't want to take the time of introducing Sylvia because I think no one can do it better than herself. So Sylvia, the floor is yours. Please take your time. And I really look forward to hearing more about what you do all the way in Brazil. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and you should be able to share yours.
Hello, everybody. Very nice being here with you. Well, I'm going to share my screen so I can show you some share with you some experiences that we have, but let me talk about, well, I'm from Delibera Brazil. It's organization, independent and non-partisan and non-profit organization created in 2017 by citizens from, we are 11 founders, from colleagues, former colleagues from different backgrounds, and who are also always activists for democracy and participation. So we found out about deliberative initiatives, mini publics and citizen assemblies, and we were enthusiastic, and we wanted to bring these experiences to Brazil. So we have been doing that, advocating, promoting, and practicing these experiences here. And I'm gonna talk, my background is public opinion research, public opinion. I made a career in public opinion research for many, many years in one of the major companies of public opinion and market research here in Brazil. And I'm a social scientist, and I have a specialization in public opinion. And but I was kind of skeptic about how public opinion surveys could help difficult collective choices. That's why I was really enthusiastic about deliberative democracy and mini publics and citizen assemblies. And one of the things that I would like to present and to tell you about is about inclusion in this process regarding the invitation and calling people to the room, because we have, our experiences have shown that we have extra effort to do that in an inclusive way here in the Global South. I believe that you may have the same kind of difficulties and challenges as we do in Brazil. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about our experiences in how to bring hard to reach people into the room for our citizen assemblies. I think the challenge that we have here in Brazil, we can say that the most relevant variable of exclusion would be formal education, because formal education and low formal education is highly correlated with socioeconomic status, because these people don't get good jobs and formal jobs, so they have low income also, and so all the correlated social variables come here. And it's also correlated with digital literacy and also with political information. When we are talking about inclusive outreach in Brazil, we are talking about reaching lower education stratum of the society. Also, a second problem is address, because here in the precarious housing communities, we don't have address. So we cannot use like the methods of recruiting and invitation that the Northern citizen assemblies used to have, that is to send a sample of thousands and thousands of letters to people and wait them to be interested and to subscribe for a citizen assembly. We cannot do that because we would be excluding a part of population that don't have an official address. And the third problem that we have, and I have my partner here, my colleague from Politize Vinicius, who is really the best person to talk about that is youth, because Brazilian youth is really fed up with politics. But thanks to Politize, it's changing. But we have to make a lot of effort to bring young people, because they don't like the usual formats of political participation that we have made by older people. So we have these three challenges that I'd like to talk a little bit how we deal with that in our experiences. And this is we are doing now a program that we are creating a guide in Portuguese and with our experiences and our examples. So I bring here for you. It's not published yet, but it's just a teaser for you. And this is an example that we used in Fortaleza. It's the capital of the state of Ceará in the northeast region of Brazil. And this is something that we really indicate as a method here in Brazil. That is, we use census tracts. We make a sortition of census tracts. And then we go to the census tracts and we reach people in their households with a very nice invitation letter from the mayor or from the parliament, local parliament, or from an authority. And then we get a sample, like 200 people, representative of the population who accept to participate in a citizen assembly. And then we make this reach very active reach with this census tract sample. So this is a very nice way to do it. Another experience that I think it's a great case that we have here in Salvador, in the communities, lower income communities, and in Salvador, it's the capital of state of Bahia, also in the northeast region. A partner of our program, Avante, is a non-profit, non-government organization in Salvador. They did this very nice outreach technique. They have this sound. You can see the chart, the sound chart here. This is used to sell coffee and nuts and things like that in the communities, because it goes very well in the hills. And so this sound. And then they call people to participate in the citizen assembly with this sound card. And they tell people that they can register in the citizen assembly through WhatsApp. They can make a message, send a message, or make a call to a WhatsApp number, and then somebody will be there in the other side to fill out the form, because some people really cannot do it in the Google form. A Google form for some people is not an easy thing. So this way, they are really inclusive, because anybody who has a WhatsApp, and here in Brazil, WhatsApp is really spread out to smartphones, even in the lower income stratum. So this is a very nice outreach strategy here in Brazil that we have been using. And this is the kind of card that they also use by WhatsApp and by social media, and then a form, but with this support from WhatsApp, so anybody can call and get help to fill out the form. Oh, and they had a video too. So a small video that explains what is about the citizen assembly and who can participate and what are the incentives for that and things like that. This is another, we do usually a mix, because not only one method will do it, the job. So we do it a mix, and this is another way to get the letters in the mailbox, in the census tracts that were selected randomly. Before I go to this, and talking about youth, as you can see, I go back. This kind of campaign on media, social media, this works very well with the young people. So they are the ones that we get through internet, online, because they are not at home when we knock, and they are not in the public spaces that we can get with the sound cards. They are with their phones, and they are in their activities. So online we can get them, and it's and we're using dynamic social media campaign. We can reach youth. And another thing that I really want to share, and then we will have the question and answers, because I think the exchange is the best way to do it. This is very important point. We call the information kit, and we have found out with our experiences that inclusion is it works much better if you previously to when people are accept to participate, and when they are, we have the sortition event and they are selected, we go to their households, or we send somebody to give these selected people a kit, like with a folder, nice folder. It's simple, but it's nice. It's well taken care visually, and it has materials, information materials in it. So we have cards, like in this example, we are talking about public budgeting in 2 territories of São Paulo. Oh, okay, thank you. And so in these territories, they would have to deliberate about public budgeting investments in their territory, which priorities. So they have cards with all the information of the actions and how much they cost, and maps and location of the actions. So all this information goes into this kit, and it does really make a difference for those, especially the youth. They like that a lot, because they feel that we are giving importance, and it's going to be informed based. It's not going to just go there and talk, but it's really going to be something that has material to work with. And so it shows the seriousness and the resolutive spirit of it. We want to solve something. We want to work on a problem and get you to solve it together. So this is practical, and people like that a lot. This makes the participation rates go up, because people really feel part of a process, and then they show up in the citizen assembly in the first session. So I think that's the first ideas I want to share, and we will have a question and answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. That is indeed extremely informative. So let's take a few minutes for some Q&A. So if anyone has a question, please raise your hand and go ahead and ask the question to Sylvia. Let's make sure we keep within the time before we go to our next speaker. So, questions?
Sylvia, let me make a question for you. Nice to meet you again. And as I said in the chat, we need to get a beer in São Paulo. And when I travel there, we can get along well. So I'd like to understand better how do you approach governments to realize your many publics and the challenges in this situation. And I think that it could be interesting for us to understand better how to approach them to realize in other activities in each other organizations here. It makes sense? Yeah?
Yes, yes. Well, first, I think we are promoting that and advocating it. So it's not yet a deliberative wave here in Brazil, of course. And our first experiences, we have support from foundations. And like in Fortaleza, we did, it was a demonstration case supported by UNDEF, by the United Nations Democracy Fund and New Democracy Foundation. So we go to the mayor of Fortaleza and we tell him, look, we want to do this here. It's very democratic. It's very innovative. You will be the first Brazilian mayor to do it. So let's do it together. And we had the money to, for example, to pay the incentives for the participants. We provided this money. So it was much easier to do that. Even in this project about public budgets here in São Paulo, we did it in partnership with 2 NGOs, and they have supported financially and with technical resources. So we gave the results to the municipality of São Paulo, but now they like it, and we are talking with them about continuing in other territories. But now we have this program with National Endowment for Democracy that we are reaching out municipalities and inviting them to participate in a journey, a formative journey. And then we will have 3 citizen assemblies on climate change in 3 municipalities. And what we have found out is that when we go to a democratic government, of course, so we choose the ones that have more, and we tell them about it, and we ask them, okay, tell me a problem that you think that participation would be necessary, and how about going with a citizen assembly on it? They are really receptive, but it's not. But we tell them that it's not an easy process. It's hard. It takes time. It takes dedication. It takes effort from the public authorities, but it's worth it. So we have a few experiences so far, but now I think we have already these experiences that we can tell public authorities that it works, and every municipality can do it. So we are trying to, now we are starting to spread, but go to the mayor, go to the main authority and tell them about it, and say that it has been done. It has been done and it has worked outside Brazil, but also in Brazil. Thanks to Delibera, we are spreading that. So help us spread this, Vinicius. You are in the Cidadania first edition, so you are ready to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a question from Frederick and Ardita. So Frederick, I see you had raised your hand first, so please go ahead and try to do your best to keep it short.
Yeah, Thank you so much, Sylvia. I think the initiative uses really practical initiative. I just wanted to know what is the benefit what benefit do you give to people who use the soundtrack? And how do you ensure a wide coverage so that more people are actually reached? Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not aware about but it's sure it's paid. Like they have these people who have these soundtracks and selling coffee or other kinds of, it's market. So it's marketing. So they have this table of prices for their market services. So we surely have to pay, but it's not, of course, it's much less than to do something in TV or in radio or newspapers or other channels. So it's much cheaper and it's feasible. And to make it the coverage, that's it. These cars, they have a route. So you have to know about the route that they do it. Like I want to cover this community here. Oh, there are two cars that make routes there. So I will get both. And so it's really a media planning, but I think that it's much easier because they do it every day. They make these routes every day, so everybody in the community knows where they go, where they go around, so you can know about what you are buying and what you are getting. I think it's important to say that if you are doing something like that, you need to a mix, né? As I said, not only one way, but a mix of ways. Like in this case, that in Salvador we had the sound car, we had a campaign on social media, we had schools that were spreading in their WhatsApp groups about the initiative, public schools. So all this together makes a sample of a good sample of people from the population to invite, and as they accept, then we have the sortition. We have the selection, randomly selected for the citizen assembly. I don't know if I answer well, but
That's great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Please go ahead, Ardita.
Thank you very much, Sylvia, for the presentation. Since I'm really interested in youth participation, I wanted to know from your experience and perspective, what is the best method to actually make young people participate in deliberation, since here most of the times when we organize, for example, participation forums or discussions with young people, we sometimes have this difficulty of having them come to the deliberation. And if I can make just a short comment, when you mentioned that it's good to send the participants in deliberative processes a package with information materials and just making them feel included, that they will have a say. I would also like to mention that from our experience, for example, in the case here in North Macedonia, when we organized a deliberative process, we made sure that, of course, we had participants from each ethnicity here in the country. But then again, if there's this language barrier, for example, if some Albanian participants could not express themselves in the Macedonian languages, we provided them with translation or inside translation, just so the deliberation would be more inclusive and everyone could understand each other. So also that aspect of language, let's say, when it is applicable in a country, it should be taken into consideration, maybe to have a translation for the deliberation to be more inclusive. Thank you.
Vinicius, would you like to say something about youth and participation?
Oh, no problem, but yes. I had some troubles here in internet connection. So could you repeat quickly what have you talked?
I think it's just sharing how can we, what are the ways that we use to get youth, to get young people to participate in
Yes,
process, like
yes, it's sometimes
Yeah.
you have this barrier between young people and them
Yeah.
being inspired to participate in such processes. So what is, from your perspective, great method?
just one word on that before Vinicius, but from our experiences, when we tell them that it's going to be sortition, that they are really important to be there because they are going to represent other young people, and if they don't go, the citizen assembly will be older, and so the decisions. And when we ask them, and then we explain how it's going to work, and we tell them that it's going to be dynamic. It's going to not only, they are going to talk, it's not only hearing, and they are going to have different dynamics and get information, and then the kit and all this, I think, tell them that it's something different. It's not the traditional way, so they get more excited, I think.
Yeah. Great, Sylvia. And I think that it's important to say that we have different process in Politis and Delibera. Yeah. So here we didn't have the chance to explain what we do here in Politis, but I expect that another time we can share a little about our job. But here we have a network of citizens throughout Brazil, and they are responsible to spread political education, you know. So I think that the cause we are talking about moves lots of people, you know, and young people here in Brazil, as many researchers have been talking for us, wants to be part of politics, but many of them don't know how to be part of it, you know. So our job here in Politis is to show them what is politics, and that politics is not only be a candidate or working with advocacy, for example, or working in third sector, but it's all of it, and we work to show them, and I think that do this our approach, we call many young people here for our network. So we expect that being part of our network, for example, youth want to be part of Delibera, for example, and now and during our journey, people are responsible to develop a training for their citizens in their cities, and they know many people in their cities and get in touch with them, and so and what I think that more engage them to be part of it is to start a job to change the political culture in their own cities. So they have this sense of own, you know, of being the creator of something. Yes, sense of, yes, great, thank you. To start this movement to change the culture. And during this process, the people who are leading the movement in their cities discover a huge land of politics and political participation and knows deliberative, etc. So, you know, as a movement that shows the beginning of politics, I think that we are having a success to engage more people and youth here in Brazil in the land of political participation. I don't know if I respond, but yes, that it's the situation here.
Thank you guys so much. I'm so sorry to cut this, but the time is really running, and we still have two more speakers to go. I see that Jenny's having problems signing in. But before I move on, thank you so much, Sylvia, for all the work that you do and for taking this time to share with us and inform us and talk to us about different ways of being inclusive and also being holistic in the work that we do. It's really, really interesting listening to things from your perspective and your side of the world. So Kunal, I'm going to ask you to go up next just because of connection of Jenny. And again, please introduce yourself, tell us where you're from and what you do, and you can go ahead with your session. You should also be able to share your screen. Thank you guys again. Kunal, are you there? Is he frozen just for me or? Yeah.
No, I think he's frozen too.
I think we need to fix this global internet problem before we can do anything else, right? It's so difficult. Kunal, can you hear us?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. I also have some low bandwidth today, so yes.
Perfect.
I will just share my presentation with the introduction. I'd like to start this. Yes, hope everyone can see my slides.
Yes, we can see them.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, so myself, Kunal Jaiswal, I work with a Center for Environmental Education and very much interested in urban-centric support initiative and processes. So today I would like to share our outreach experience of participatory budgeting in Pune. First, I would like to introduce with your organization. So Center for Environment Education is a non-profit organization established in 1984 and work across the India. C develops a program and education material and build a capacity in the field of education for sustainable development. Yeah. So just to provide some context to government or the deliberation process, we have a federal and national government, 20 state government, and normally election held in every 5 years. Since there is some non-similarity in the deliberative process in urban and rural, like rural areas have the means village assemblies where means we can say in Gram Sabha, where youth and all citizens can come together and have assemblies on some decision making. But the urban scenario is not similar to rural. In 1990s, Kerala has tried assemblies, the participation process in the rural and urban in the Kerala state. Even in the Bangalore, they have tried the participatory budgeting by inspiring the Brazil work. They have tried participation process in the Bangalore, but it was not supported and the backed by the government. It is more lead by the local organization out there. So inspiring from the Bangalore means the city, in Pune, the municipal commissioner has initiated this process. So initially when he introduced the participatory budgeting to elected representative, so they were not in favor of participation, the whole participatory budgeting process. But in when since 2007, then there before the election, means election are about to happen. Before that, there were no elected representative on the board of city. So that time he took this and introduced the participation of citizen in the budget making process. So that was, we can say, the first outreach effort by Pune Municipal Commissioner, and they also have used that our city's urban community development department for outreaching and reaching the slum dwellers and in the city. So this was kind of initial stage in the outreach process. In that time, the budget allocation has been done for every electrical ward, and there are various areas. I'm audible? Yes. I'm audible to everyone? Yes, thank you so much. So the areas of work has been identified in which citizens used to suggest their work. These are the process where announcement of invitation is happened, then a date of application has been suggested, then eligibility of the work suggested has been suggested, then the process. I can just sharing the slide. So when whole thing is happening, like city civic organization like C and other organization were very much excited about this whole process. And then we as an organization, we have supported this process. We have promoted on the awareness of part of this. We also train a few community volunteers so they can go in the settlements and do the outreach of this whole process. Even we have helped the ward office to scrutinize the suggestion, and some intern from background of urban planning and policy making have been involved in the various processes to identify the work and this kind of. And the as a part of outreach, we have developed menu card, which was very much helpful for citizens to suggest work as per the criteria of municipal local bodies. Yes. So just an example, every year Pune Municipal Corporation do advertising in the local newspaper and invite suggestion for participants, the budgeting. These are form are available in all the ward office, so citizens can just go take form and suggest their work in that. The application form and the information is also available on the website of Pune Municipal Corporation, where anyone can just go visit and submit their suggest their work as per that. So these are kind of one of the outreach your communication material where it was very helpful for citizens to suggest their work as per their need. So they as there are some particular budget allotted for each ward and for each task, so it would be very it was very helpful for citizens to use this communication. So yeah, that was just to show. And then here we can see that here we can see how the increase in the budget uh, during the year, kind of here where allocation is increasing. Then we have also in 2030 we have done a critical review of the whole process, where we found when we realized that there is the the diversity of participation is missing, and there are few transparency in the process. Means like it is like gate is open for the budget making, in introducing the suggestion for an allocating budget. But when it comes to allocation and decision making and the implementation, so that was where we are lacking. We have done a critical review, so some learning. On the basis of learning, we have understood, yes, there is many good things about participant budgeting, like open to all, free of cost for everyone, can take place every year. It could be a cycle of everywhere. Everyone accept it's good idea. But also there are various perception of corporator and ward office. Like some corporator were, they don't think that citizens are able to suggest a proper work, as per their understanding. So, and sometimes the if budget got not selected, or the work is not got selected, or it is not implemented, the corporator think that it is the citizens are blaming us. Even in the ward officers also, the bureaucrat also got caught in between the citizens and representation. So there are some, we can say there are areas of need to improve in the whole process, what we realize in that. Learning from the review processes, we have tried, we can say, a high level deliberative processes, the effort to strengthening the participant budgeting. So although it was not very much popularized in the whole city, we try to try to get try to make ensure that representation from every weaker section was there through the random selection. So some from waste speaker, some from the child speaker, some from the
Did we lose Kunal? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sorry. So I thought I lost connection. I would just reconnect again. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Kunal, maybe it
Yes.
will work for you to put down the video.
Okay. Yes. Yes. That would be. Thank you. Very helpful. So although we have tried this process, so there is one very good suggestion has come up during the session, that can we partially allot budget on the basis of service and available infrastructure and in each ward. And this idea has been um, um, uh, the municipal commissioner has interest in that idea, and they and on the basis of his interest, in the that suggestion, we could try to develop a ward wise profile, where we have analyzed the service level, available service in the areas, available infrastructure in the particular ward, in the various roads, drainage and other areas. So it was very helpful. Here we have realized that outskirts of city, as are under service, and they have to allocate some more budget in order to have a basic services and good infrastructure. So that was the tool which we have developed, and it kind of information base which can be used for decision making. So although whole process and efforts has been introduced to the elective representative, they are not very much keen to use this tool or this effort to in the in the budget making. So that was again one of the understanding, the one of the hurdle from, we can say, understanding of elected representative, where we would not able to incorporate this kind of suggestion or the work which information based and can be utilized for budget allocation. So but although all the information which we have developed, study and survey, we could made available for the civic organization on the portal, where people can use this critical information for various purpose. So we are continue in the process of to facilitate and do our best to facilitate the participatory process. Although we are lacking due to some resources and COVID I think we may not able to uh, uh, perform in last due to some challenge, but in further we are very much keen to facilitate and efforts put our efforts in the various participation process. Thank you all for hearing everything, and yes, thank you everyone. Yes. Could I
Thank you.
stop my presentation? Yes, can I?
Yes.
Yes, thank
So
you.
let's
Yeah.
take a few to take some questions for Kunal. You can raise your hand. Please go ahead. Lagisha?
Yes, it's Blagica.
Lagica. Okay, got it.
Okay, so I have a comment. I have not a question, because we are implementing a participatory budgeting process in North Macedonia for 5 years, and more or less we are facing the same issues. So some of the issues related to the participation at this process, how we have solved. We found that at the municipalities where the mayors are more engaged and they are participating in the town hall meetings, the participation is much larger than in the municipalities where the mayor and the other municipality representatives are not appearing in these town hall meetings. Second, what we found is that when the process is in continuity, for example, it's not ad hoc and we are organizing 1 year and then 3 years later, but when we are organizing every year, the people are aware that at the same time of the year and the same period, this type of process is organizing and they are motivated to participate. Also, the people would like to get information once the budget is in the implementation process, to get information which of their proposals have been accepted and they are in the process of implementation. So these are some of the findings that we have from our experience, but also I share our experience with Ardita from the first part, that the youth participation is very lacking, and we didn't find a way how to motivate them to participate in these processes. Also, we found that for the people from the rural area, not always these processes are inclusive. So we changed the approach. Usually at the very beginning, we have organized this event at the key municipality and not going into the rural area. Now we're organizing these meetings in the rural area in order to go close to those people, because some of them are not able to traveling to the key municipalities. But in general, we are facing more or less the same issues.
Thank you so much for your question. Frederick, do you have any question?
Yeah, not really a question, but a comment. I think governance structure seems to be similar with that in Kenya, but we've been trying to really implement the village council, which are the basic decision-making units, but that has not quite been successful since 2013. And I'm really happy to hear that the Gram Sabha, which are basic units for decision-making in India, are really working, and it really be great to have that cross engagement to really appreciate this more. The other thing that I also wanted just to appreciate is the leadership that the government is taking in participatory budget process. I think the experience in Kenya, what we've been able to witness is that if there is heavy government presence in these processes, then they seem to control the process, and citizen voices are actually really not given the opportunity that it deserves. I don't know how they are able to manage the element of the government presence taking leadership in it, and as well you want the citizens to really participate actively. But generally, this was a great presentation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your comment, Frederick. Sylvia, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to share a little bit about our experience of public budgeting. We are really discussing here with São Paulo municipality authorities and also with other people in the field of public budgeting about deliberative budgeting. and I'd like to ask about first, if Kunal, if you are using, I couldn't understand very well, sorry, but are you using sortition? Do you have sortition events for this participatory budget process? Because I think that in our experiences, the sortition event and the sortition process gives another symbolic and also operational benefit for the process, because if you do a public sortition event with a lot of attention and try to call everybody to do it like a civic lottery event, something like, youth will feel that it's something different. So they may get interest because they know that it's not, again, another assembly with everybody, all the same people in the community, because it's like that, right? We know it's a lot. Normally, it's always the same people who go. So the youth feel that it's different, and they know that it's proportional. So they will be there in the proportional or even over represented in the group, and it makes it fun, because sortition is fun, and to win, to participate, it's fun. So I would like to ask you if you have used sortition and if you have had public events for sortition with this showtime idea, and again, I think this is my comment.
Kunal, you wanna take some time?
Yes. So in when it comes to the participation budgetary process of Pune Municipal Corporation, they have online open, option available for everyone. Those who are interested, they can, can suggest their work. But in the process of, especially in the global assembly work, we did try the sortation method in that kind of initiative, and would request Sanskruti ma'am, and yes, would request Avinash sir to
Hi, this is Avinash, and I've been also working with Kunal Sanskriti on this. So when we did a review process, that's the time we tried the sortation method, and the two challenges actually. One is that what kind of database you use for doing the sortation. So first idea was to use the electoral roll of people, and maybe just knocking the 10th or 12th door in the row, and try and understand whether we can use the polling booths, which is the electoral ward post database of the citizens to use the recruitment. That somehow didn't work because the data didn't we couldn't find the people, because first we did like the selection of the list, and then we're trying to find out the people. And once that process was not done for the review, then we went for like a newspaper advertisement, gave a number saying that interested people could join, which of course I understand is the purpose of purpose of sample. I think challenge with the data sets and database had been a big challenge, and I think this is anyway almost 5, 6, 7 years ago, In global assembly, situation was a little different, but I think the database has evolved a little bit more in last 5-7 years. So maybe it will be fun to also do it now. Yeah.
Thank you, Avinash. Kunal, do you want to add something, or anyone has any other questions? All right, so I'll take your silence as a no. Thank you so much, Kunal, for sharing with us the different perspectives as well from your side. Unfortunately,
I'm sorry, I'm muted. Was there a question? I'm sorry, couldn't understand. Hello.
Yes.
No, I was asking whether there was a question. The internet dropped for a few seconds. Yeah.
No, there wasn't any questions at that moment.
Sorry. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, so sorry. Obi is not going to be able to join us. Unfortunately, she has really bad internet and she's been trying to connect for the last, since maybe we started, and it's been really difficult. So we're just gonna move to the last part of this session, which is rather another Q&A. But in this context, I also want to ask you all a question. And the question would be that if you could do something about this experience, what would it be? I.e. this exchange experience. And then if you have, again, any other questions, any other space, any other thing you want to bring into this space, please go ahead. We have about 10 minutes before we can wrap up. For those who don't have very good internet, you can also write your questions or answers on the chat. And if you have any question directed to our speakers for today, you can also include them there, and we'll take the time to answer them together.
Yeah, Islam, can I ask a question?
Karibuni.
Yeah. In the previous discussion, there was a reference to an initiative called sortition. I'm not quite aware of it. Could they explain further how that initiative works? I don't know whether I'm even pronouncing it right. I think I'm getting across it very fast.
You are. Maybe I could hand over to either Avinash or Sylvia to answer this question.
Yes, of course. I'm so sorry that I took for granted. So sorry. Sortition. Yes, it's one of the procedures that we use in citizen assemblies and mini publics, that we get, we select the smaller group from the population, from a community. We select participants through by random, like really to pick up by random. Like if we have a pot with a lot of papers, like, and we put them, if we could get the names of all the people in the city in a pot, in little pieces of paper, and we get by chance. So each one has the same chance as the other everyone to be picked, to be selected. So this is the idea of sortition, that we select one person to participate among everybody. But as Avinash has said, the problem with this is where to pick up the names, because in which database, in which, how can we do it? Because in Europe, they do it very easily because they have public database. They have a database of address, for example, and they can select randomly addresses, households, but we don't have that here in Brazil. And I think that you don't have either. So how can we do it? So we have developed this like a survey, like a sample survey. We do a sample of people. We do a sample of the population with 200, 300 people. It's a sample, it's representative, it's proportional to gender, age, income, school level, race. And then we do this sample of people who are willing to participate. And then we make this random selection from this database that we have created. So this is an extra effort that we have to do, is to create a database, an inclusive and representative database. And then we pick up in a very public and open event, in a public space, with online transmission, so everybody can see how we are selecting the participants of the sit-in assembly. That's the sortition process.
And also, just to add to that, like sortition also allows us full transparency and also equal rights of participation for everyone within the community of people who are willing to participate. And of course, once it's done right, it is truly democratic in its ability of randomly selecting people to make a decision without any biases or political affiliation or so on. Does anyone else have a question? A comment, maybe?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it is really like evolving ourselves also in high quality deliberation in a sense. Because when you're doing it for the first time with lack of database, it's also, the mind is full of questions that whether we are doing it right or not. And I think the development of understanding is a great thing about sortition and also trying it out, because there is also an inherent feeling that these kind of processes are not meant for a democracy like us, which is a representative form of democracy. There are certain things which is mind really doesn't accept immediately. But I think some of these demonstrations has also created that kind of a vibe amongst the partners, and they still refer to some of these mini public events that the process was done very well. That was a really good organized workshop, so to say. So all in support of what has been just said now about experimentation and sortation, it's also going to be like a way in which a small wins could be done, and the demonstration remains like a best communication.
So I believe there are no more questions or comments. And surprisingly, we are just right on time to end this session. I will hand over to Sylvia to say a few words to wrap up today's session. And once again, thank you all so much from the bottom of our hearts for joining us today and for constantly and continuously wanting to make this world a better place through, inclusion and participation. So thank you all again for joining us, and over to you, Sylvia.
Thank you, Islam. Thank you, Sylvia and Kunal. Thank you for your speeches and for being here, leading this session. So to wrap up, I want just to notice that the inclusion and the effort to include everyone is like a systematic effort to make everyone aware of these efforts that we are doing and bringing everyone on the room, everyone with minor populations also. And so the Sortition can make this effort to bring everyone with the same chance as for all of them. So this is an effort that can be made with database management, but also with a lot of efforts from the organizations that make this possible. So yes, I just wanted to end with this and thanking all of you for being here. And I invite you to look all the information that Sylvia had put on the chat, like the video on YouTube and everything she had, and Avinash also have shared with us on the chat. So I invite you to do that before we end. And I think that's it. I thought Daniel wanted to say something before we end it.
Hey, Sylvia, no problem. I just wanted to get it clear, some of the presentations that were made here. But as well, I have captured it and got the better part of the presentations that were here. So like you said, it's just to thank you and all that participated. So we hope to see much coming on board later or in other sessions that are coming. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
I invite you to the next two sessions. Be aware of your chat WhatsApp, through WhatsApp, for the next two sessions that we will be hosting the next week.
Just a quick question. The final session is only in Spanish?
Yes, the final session will only be in Spanish. But number 4 will be in English. Let me just tell you the date. It will be June 28th at 8 UTC. That one will be in English, about communication for public engagement.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.